Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One for a Saturday, November 9th, 2024. Over there, about 5 feet away from me is Mr. D.C. Hendricks.
Good morning, Chevy.
How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Great,
Doing good.
Great.
A lot more energy this week than I did last week. I got sleep last night. I went home after high school football last night, and I went straight to sleep.
Did you really? So did I. So we're going to see who's energized.
That's right.
We'll probably both tie for second, because on the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is none other than, they call him the Energizer Bunny, Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. Justin, good morning, sir.
Morning, fellas. How are we doing?
Oh, we've got coffee, so we're good.
I still need mine, but I'll try to bring the energy.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. So, well, sectional champs were crowned last evening, and some surprises, but locally, a lot of teams stepped up and are on to regional play, and holy cow. Well, let's start with Class 6A, Justin. Sectional 2, Carroll Snyder, round 2, and, of course, round 2 was, I don't want to say exactly like round 1, but Carroll prevails once again, 21-10 over the Snyder Panthers, and will now head to Crown Point to take on a Crown Point team that is 11-0. But Snyder, Aaron
Crown
Vance.
Point is legit.
Yeah. And, Aaron Vance, but no Brandon Logan last night for the Panthers. Talk a little bit about the Carroll Chargers.
Well, definitely hurt without Brandon Logan, the arguably the best player, best athlete in this area. And it was really the slow start I felt for Snyder that really determined this game. It was 14-0 before Snyder even scored. They got within 14-10 in the fourth quarter, and you felt like momentum was with them, but Carroll was able to respond and have that late touchdown by Will Jeffries that put the game away with about 2.5 to go. And the first 7 drives, guys, for Snyder, fumble, punt, turnover on downs, fumble, end of the half, and then interception. So it was a slow start for that Snyder offense. By the time they found some stuff that worked and moved the ball and be able to get points on the board, Carroll was in control and really sealed it with that late win. And now the Chargers move on, like you said, to face Crown Point.
Yes, indeed. Looking at Class 5A Sectional 11, a little bit out of the area, but Kosciuszko County, the Warsaw Tigers come up big with a victory over Concord, 31-28, and Concord came into that game, much ballyhooed.
They did. They took care of business last week against Northside on the road, and you felt like the number 1 team in Class 5A had already beaten Warsaw in the regular season, but that was a game that Warsaw let get away. They were up 17 points at halftime in that game in the regular season. No such real failure to execute over the final 4 quarters for Warsaw last night in that win. Some fascinating stats coming out of that game, guys, because Warsaw scored to take the lead and win with 12.7 seconds to go on Quentin Brock's 4-yard touchdown run on 4th down. They actually converted 3 4th downs on that game-winning drive and ran a total of 74 plays from scrimmage last night. Concord ran 17 plays from scrimmage. So Concord was scoring with big chunk plays. Warsaw was scoring methodically with long drives, and Warsaw just happened to have the ball the last opportunity last night. And it maybe is the real difference in the game was Warsaw's real natural ability to move the ball and be plotting and stuff, because it took all the time off the clock and really didn't give Concord much time at all, or any time at all, to kind of respond late in the game. So Warsaw moves on, and just a big win for them, knocking off the Class 5A number 1 last night.
Yes, they will get the unbeaten 11-0 Lafayette Jeff. I believe they're the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken.
They are, yes. Indeed.
Heading to Class 4A, Sectional 19, the Bishop Dwenger Saints came into that one on their home turf, having showed that their defense was up to the task in previous weeks, and that was what made this a big matchup. East Noble has been doing everything they needed to do, and that's win ever since week 3 of the season. And East Noble puts another shutout on the board, just like they did last week against Leo, 21-0, beating Bishop Dwenger 38-0. And it was the usual suspects, the Riley Biddles, the Dylan Krells, the Dallas Plattners that were so synonymous with the night's success.
Just a complete domination last night on both sides of the football by East Noble. And that was kind of the question going in. We saw what Bishop Dwenger was able to do against Columbia City. East Noble's a better team than Columbia City, but they were both kind of front runners in the NE8. It felt like Bishop Dwenger, with their strength up front and the way the defense had been playing, was able to keep this game close, but it was anything but. I mean, defensively for East Noble, held Dwenger to 7 first downs, just 69 rushing yards. We felt that Dwenger was going to have to run the football effectively to win this game. You mentioned Krell and Plattner. Both guys went over 100 yards and a rushing touchdowns. Riley Biddle with a touchdown. It ended up resulting in the worst program defeat by margin of victory for Bishop Dwenger in playoff history, and their first shutout defeat in the playoffs since 2014 when they went to Northridge and lost 21-0. It was a complete domination last night by the East Noble Knights.
And Kendallville will be the site of the regional game against Huntington North, who ran their record to 9-3 with a 31-28 win over Lebanon in overtime. And, boy, the Vikings just keep defying the odds, don't they? They're just a lot of fun to follow, and I'm surprised that Lebanon held them down to 31 points last night.
You know, this is one of the two best stories in the area, in Garrett and Huntington North this season, and this one came down to a field goal. Johan von Sandersleben, the 32-yard field goal for Huntington North. The first sectional championship in 31 years for Huntington North, and had a late field goal attempt blocked in regulation. So von Sandersleben really gets revenge in overtime. And it was just a great story, guys, all around with Huntington North, and really were able to do it last night with the running game and the passing game. 172 yards rushing, 159 through the air. Tony Decker, the quarterback, 82 yards rushing, and added 159 yards passing on just 5 completions, 2 touchdowns to James Linker, and the defense coming up big in overtime, in particular in forcing Lebanon into a turnover on downs in overtime. So just a great effort by Huntington. They go on the road, a very big road trip, long road trip, get it done. They'll go to East Noble next week, but man, what a story, guys. A team that won 1 game a year ago captures a sectional championship, a 9-win team this year, and will head to Kendallville for a regional matchup, their first regional game in 31 seasons.
Yes, the East Noble defense will be tested by Huntington North next week, that's for sure. Heading over to 3A in sectional 26, the rematch, Garrett and West Noble. The Railroaders hold on to win by 1 point, 21-20 over West Noble.
This was a 21-7 game. Garrett led in the fourth quarter. You felt that like they were in control, and credit West Noble for being able to fight back, make some plays with guys that weren't named Seth Pruitt, which was the question of could they do that when they needed to, and they were able to. Seth Pruitt was actually the recipient of the ball for that touchdown late with 2.5 to go to bring the game within 1. The kick was missed, and by Nefty Silva, who's usually a very reliable kicker, and that was the difference in the game. And Garrett gets the win. And some fascinating stat, guys, coming out of this game, as we know how dominant that Seth Pruitt has been this season. And in 2 games against Garrett this year, he rushed 28 times for 54 yards, including last night 12 carries for 15 yards and a touchdown. This is a guy that did not go under 100 yards against anybody else on the schedule. Twice Garrett held Seth Pruitt in check and got 2 wins over West Noble, the only 2 losses for the Chargers all season. So great job by the Garrett defense in particular. They win their first sectional since 2016, and they will host Knox next week.
Indeed, they will. Knox is 9-3 now after their sectional victory last night. In 3A, still sectional 28, the Bishop Luers Knights, 34-28 over Mississinewa, who came in unbeaten and very seldom scored upon this season. The first 5 weeks of the season were all shutouts for Mississinewa, and they went into this game, probably pretty confident. Bishop Luers, though, in the score doesn't indicate the dominance that Luers showed early.
They did. They scored early. They led 14 at halftime, and then Mississinewa kind of turned it on in the fourth quarter and scored 3 touchdowns and had a position to throw a Hail Mary at the end for a potential touchdown. My son was there, and as the ball was in the air, was panicking, thinking Bears Commanders a couple weeks ago. So, but that one was not caught last night, and Bishop Luers wins and knocks off Mississinewa, as you mentioned previously, undefeated. It was a balanced effort for Bishop Luers. Jace White at quarterback, 141 yards and a touchdown, and did not turn the ball over via pick for the 3rd straight week. Bishop Luers hasn't thrown a pick. And the rushing game, 183 yards on the ground, led by D. Hogue, 119 yards and a score. Bishop Luers gave Mississinewa opportunities. 4 lost fumbles last night for Bishop Luers, but was able to score when they needed to and hold off Mississinewa late. And Bishop Luers gets the win. They're seemingly on the Indian Tribe tour as they take care of Mississinewa, and they'll head to Mechaniqua next week. Yeah,
both unbeaten. Yeah, I reached out to my grandson, who's also a freshman at Luers and knows Noah. And so I told him, I said, well, they beat Mississinewa. Now they're at Mechaniqua, and it's the tribal respect there. So Mechaniqua 12-0 as well, and so Luers, but still Luers, by virtue of the pretty tough SAC schedule, gets ready for the postseason like this every year. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a year, some years back, that Luers was under 500 heading into postseason play, and they ended up taking home a state championship.
Yeah, they did, and that's just, we talk about the rigors of the SAC and what you can go through, particularly as a smaller school. And that was, I don't think it was 2018. It was a little bit further back, one of their state titles in the mid-2000s, I believe, that went through. I think it was 2009 when they were 4-5 in the regular season, then went and won a 2A state championship, being Monrovia, over Thanksgiving weekend. But that's just Bishop Luers. I don't think this is as dominant of a team as we've seen in the past, but and up in 3A, you felt, okay, there's going to be more challenges. There'll definitely be more challenges coming, but you feel pretty good about going to Mechaniqua, a team that I don't think is as good as Mississinewa, and Luers was able to take care of business. So once again, Bishop Luers takes their lumps in the regular season and then applies those lessons into a smaller class. Usually it's 2A, now it's 3A, and it's definitely one
guy named Lindsay with the last name at the helm running that program. They're going to be competitive. So now let's head to Class 2A. Well, let's just finish this out talking about Adams County. We had the Adams Central Flying Jets pretty much dismantled Eastside last night, 41-19. They will now be home to Eastern next Friday night, and Eastern is 8-4 on the season.
Yeah, this is another dominating performance by Adams Central. It's almost boring in how they do it. They just, hand the ball off, and you have to figure out how to stop their running game. And if you can, maybe you have a shot to beat them. And if not, you definitely don't have a chance to beat them. So it was Adams Central really instilling its will last night in this game. 272 yards rushing against Eastside. Aaron Hershey, a couple touchdowns. Matt Heiser, a couple touchdowns. It's the same old. And Max Carr with a big effort last night defensively, 17 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a forced fumble. So really, really good performance by Adams Central last night. As you mentioned, they'll get Eastern at home. The Lafayette Central Catholic guys looming in 2A in the north. They'll take on Andrean next week. And we talked about the raise in class for Adams Central. And while their dominance is still going to be clearly on display, maybe some teams that they could potentially play in the playoffs outside of the South that can match up with them. And in Class 1A, we didn't see that the last couple of years. They had to wait till state to play a team. Now, semi-state seems to be that round where we could see Adams Central really, really have to play a very, very good program, and it's either going to be Lafayette Central Catholic or Andrean.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, state championship 1, state championship 2, the way it shakes out. Now, heading over to Class 1A in Sectional 44, South Adams, the little Starfire that could, after coming off the mat last week to win, and they beat Madison Grant 43-36, and Madison Grant was very highly touted coming into this game against the Starfires. And South Adams gets it done 43-36 and will be home to North Miami, who is 10-2 next Friday.
Congratulations to the Starfires. I talked to Coach Mosier earlier in the week. I asked him, what it's going to take. He said Madison Grant is a better running team than Tri. And he's like, I think this is just a game that we're going to have to try to outscore them. And, well, they did. Yeah. And won for 43-36, 417 passing yards for Titus Lehman and 3 touchdowns. He also threw 3 picks, but he definitely got things done when he needed to. And, when you look at what they were able to do through the air, West Somerset, a touchdown and 173 yards through the air. Caden Neuenschwander, a couple touchdown receptions. And was able to hold Madison Grant at bay. While that defense didn't get too many stops, it was able to get stops late in the fourth quarter and keep Madison Grant scoreless for the final 10 minutes and 40 seconds of this game. So Madison Grant rushed for 372 yards, but 0 for 5 on fourth down conversions. South Adams captures a sectional championship, and as you mentioned, they are the recipient of a home game in Bern next week.
Yes, they are. Well, Justin, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll talk to you next week recapping regional play.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. That was Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net, and those were the scores from around high school football last evening. Tell you what, let's step out, take a break, and then when we come back, we'll have some more scores for you from there were some other games going on last night, too. We'll talk about those when we come back. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
1380 The Fan is teamed up with Motor Racing Network to bring you the latest in NASCAR. Each week on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11, NASCAR Live with Mike Bagley takes you inside the garage, where you'll hear straight from the drivers. If you missed the race over the weekend, don't worry. Catch the action with a Monday morning race recap. And never miss the latest news from racing with NASCAR Hot Pass. Head over to 1380thefan.com to see the full schedule and news from the voice of NASCAR.
Get the latest knife info from one of the country's premium knife shops, Blade Man's Knife Shop, at the shops of Scott Road. There's a reason customers drive hours just to shop at Blade Man's in Fort Wayne.
Hi, this is Mark, the owner of Blade Man's Knife Shop, and I'd like to personally invite you out to the store to see the area's best selection of quality knives. We have Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, ProTech, Hogue, Zero Tolerance, Medford Knife and Tool, ADV Tactical, Tour Knives, and many more. We also have a great selection of custom knives. At Blade Man's, we specifically select top quality products for the best in customer satisfaction. There's a difference with top brands, and at Blade Man's, we'll take the time to explain how materials and production results in a better knife for your needs, all in a relaxed, pressure-free, consultative environment. We update our online inventory daily so you know you're ordering in-stock product that will be shipped within one business day. So check us out on BladeMansKnifeShop.com or stop by the store in the shops of Scout Road and have a cup of coffee on me.
Be in the know and follow Blade Man's on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military, and now you can see the collection of Shun knives, the finest in kitchen cutlery, available at Blade Man's Knife Shop in the shops of Scott Road.
This Saturday night at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, it's hockey night in Fort Wayne as your Fort Wayne Komets battle the rival Kalamazoo Wings at 7:30. It's Military Appreciation Night brought to you by All American Stores. The Komets will be wearing special military-themed jerseys that will be auctioned off to benefit local veterans charities. All retired and active duty military members can get buy one, get one free tickets to the game at the Coliseum ticket office. Sunday, November 17th, the Cincinnati Cyclones return for a 5 o'clock face-off on Meyer Family Night. Get 4 Upper Arena tickets for just $58. Also, bring your skates and go out on the ice after the game. Then on Saturday, November 23rd, get ready for the Wheeling Nailers on Blackout Night starting at 7:30. This Saturday night, it's Military Appreciation Night brought to you by All American Stores versus Kalamazoo. All retired and active duty military members can get buy one, get one free tickets to this game. Get your tickets for all the Comet action in November at the Coliseum ticket office. Comet Hockey, still the hottest ticket in town.
Craving something hot and fresh? Penn Station East Coast Subs has always been the go-to for the tastiest hot grilled subs, crispy fresh-cut fries, and that oh-so-refreshing fresh squeezed lemonade. But now it's time to take things to the next level. Introducing the all-new Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. Imagine tender, perfectly grilled steak smothered in melty, gooey ghost pepper cheese that delivers a kick of heat you won't forget. It's bold, it's spicy, and it's only here for a limited time. Not a steak fan? No problem. You can add their fiery ghost pepper cheese twist to your favorite Penn Station sub or wrap. But beware, this one's only for the brave. So why wait? Head over to your nearest Penn Station East Coast Subs today for a bite of pure heat and flavor. Whether you're dining in, taking out, or ordering online, they've got you covered. Visit penn-station.com for easy online ordering and skip the wait. Your order will be ready when you arrive. Ghost pepper cheese. Get it before it vanishes at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Just because teens are tech savvy doesn't mean they're tech safe. They're facing increasing risks online from inappropriate content, bullies, even predators. Encourage the teens in your life to come to you whenever someone or something makes them uncomfortable online. Make sure your teens are tech safe. Go to InternetCrimesAgainstKids.com. A message from the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Sponsored by the Indiana State Police.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. We had other scores that games that took place last night other than high school football, believe it or not. The Fort Wayne Komets were in action in Toledo, taking on the Walleye at the Huntington Center. And, guess what? In a dominant performance, the Fort Wayne Komets were winners over the Walleye 5-1. 5 different Komets lit the lamp for the visitors. And Brett Brochure had another outstanding game. So congratulations to the K's, who now take over first place in the Western Conference's Central Division with a 6-1 record. Toledo now 5-2-1. Komets ahead by 1 point. Kalamazoo 4-1 on the season. They come into Fort Wayne tonight for a 7:30 start. It's Military Appreciation Night. We'll talk to Shane just a little bit later on in the show, so do stay tuned for that. And, of course, as we exit today at 10 o'clock, you'll be able to hear Fighting Irish Preview with the Judge Phil Houck and America's foremost authority on Fighting Irish football, Mr. Tim Priester, as they give you everything you need to know for that Florida State game. So that's going on. In men's college hoops last night, PFW lost to UCF, Central Florida, by a score of 75-68. As we said, the Pacers were beaten by the Charlotte Hornets 103-83 in NBA hoops last night. Purdue beat Northern Kentucky 72-50. Homestead grad Fletcher Lawyer had 16 for the Boilers. And then, of course, college football today has all kinds of matchups for you. And let's see, well, Ball State is at Buffalo today, or tonight. That's a 7 o'clock start. Also today, the big one, IU hosting Michigan at 3:30. And we'll see if the Hoosiers can continue their unbeaten streak.
Yeah. The talk of college football.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Well, and then
what about Purdue, Ohio State?
Purdue, Ohio State, they're at the Horseshoe today. The Boilers are at noon. So that'll be an interesting one for the Boilers. And then Notre Dame, Florida State, as we said a little bit ago, that's a 7:30 kickoff tonight. Locally, St. Francis will be hosting St. Xavier at 1 p.m. Now, a St. Francis win will put them in the driver's seat for not only a divisional championship and an automatic berth in the NAIA tournament. And so we'll talk to Mike McCaffrey after our next break and get the lowdown on that, among other things, because basketball has started in earnest for the Cougars. They just announced a brand new sport for the 2026 season. So we got a lot to talk about with Mike on that as well. The Trine Thunder of Troy Abs will be hosting Adrian today at 1 p.m. So that's what's going on in college football. And we gave you the regional matchups for high school football next Friday night. But keep it tuned here to 1380thefan.com and 100.9 FM for more information. So, other than that, how have you been this week, Mr. D.C. Hendricks?
Been good. This is like, it's a weird period for me as a baseball guy. It's the end of the baseball season, so you kind of got to like transition. And obviously basketball. Oh, yeah. It's basketball season in the end of high school football season, so definitely tuned into all of that. Been really disappointed in the Pacers, to be honest. I came into the season with really high hopes.
Well, after what they did last season in the postseason, my goodness.
I think it comes down, like if you look at the way the Pacers, and it's early, obviously, but like, every game counts.
Yeah.
The NBA, the teams are getting better. And like every team's getting better from the top down. All these teams are getting better, and like, so you have to get better, right? Because you have to stay with the pack. You got to stay with the rest of them. And you come in, thinking Halliburton's going to have this big season, and he's the only one out of all these games so far. He is the only player to not have a big game
so far
throughout these games, and he is the star player.
And he struggled at times. Sometimes his stat line will be just outrageously interesting. Something you wouldn't expect from a Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he's got to step it up if the Pacers are going to take that next step. Because like even Miles Turner had he's someone that people have been picking on for a long time.
Yeah,
like,
how long's he been on the trading block? 8
and
years?
It's like, the game, they beat the Mavericks the other day, and Miles Turner's the reason. He had 30 points and 11 rebounds, and it's like even Miles Turner is putting together big games for the Pacers. So I've been locked in on the Pacers early on to see how they do. I got tickets to a couple games coming up in January, so I'm looking forward to that. But hopefully they can get it together because, like I said, this Eastern Conference and teams in the NBA, they're catching up.
Yeah, and the Pacers now fall to 4-5 with that loss last night. So, on Unfortunately, they're in a division with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are now 10-0 on the season. So they're second place by a half game, just a scant 5.5 games behind the Cavaliers. We're going to go ahead and step out, take another break. Before we do, I want to talk about my friend Zach Culligan. We have the reverse osmosis drinking water system at our kitchen sink. Diane loves it. She swears by it. She cooks with that water. It's pristine bottled water quality right there at your kitchen sink. She, like I said, she cooks with it. The pasta noodles don't stick when you're using, the pure water, from what I'm told by her. She uses it for all kinds of drinking water. The stepdaughters use it. The dogs and cats that's all they get. And it is wonderful. You don't have to lug bottles of water, cases from the store shelf to the cart, to the conveyor, back to the cart, to the car. You get the point. Give Culligan a call today, 484-8668. That's 484-8668. And ask about the reverse osmosis drinking water system. You can buy one from Culligan, or you can rent one from Culligan. It just, whatever suits you. But give it a try and see. Give them a call, 484-8668. Give your people Culligan water. We'll be back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. Have you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately? Think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-882-2093. 800-882-2093. 800-882-2093. That's 800-882-2093.
Now on My Deals Fort Wayne, you can get two $30 certificates to Acme by Full Circle for the price of one. Acme by Full Circle is a barbecue restaurant specialized in barbecue-style dishes and cuisines. They even have some of the best pizzas in the Fort Wayne area. With a variety of choices for what would surely be one of the best-tasting barbecues, Acme by Full Circle has award-winning recipes for everybody in your group. Head over to MyDealsFortWayne.com to get your deal.
Attention homeowners, are you tired of paying too much on your energy bills? Over 90% of homes likely need more insulation. It's time you discover Koala Insulation, a premier insulation contractor. Koala's team can give you a free insulation evaluation. There's no obligation. It's one of the best home improvement returns on investments you can make. And then you can start saving money for years to come. So be sure to book your appointment for a free insulation evaluation online at koalainsulation.com.
In the construction business, business and tired of dealing with the indifference of big corporate suppliers? Quality Supply and Tool on South Harding Street understands. For over 25 years, owner Kevin Ane has had a different approach.
We at Quality Supply and Tool take pride in being a locally owned family business committed to service. And every customer's needs are different, and we truly believe in shaping our business to our customers' needs. That's what separates us from the competition.
That's Quality Supply and Tool with additional locations in Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette to serve Hoosiers better. Partner with Quality Supply and Tool and think outside the box. Store.
Indiana is the home of heroes. B.F. Goodrich Tire Plant in Woodburn recognizes all of our local military members. A world of thanks to those who serve and their families for securing peace and prosperity for our country. Freedom rings because of your great sacrifice, brave hearts who continue to lay down their own lives to protect and defend ours. At the B.F. Goodrich Tire Plant in Woodburn, we love our freedom, so we support our troops.
Now back to Talkin' Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
I'll let this play a little bit. Welcome back to Talkin' Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One, along with DC Hendricks. I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And my goodness. Then after that, then I'm heading over to the University of St. Francis because, well, the Cougars, who I've enjoyed watching immensely this season, take on St. Xavier in a contest that kicks off at 1 p.m. And it's also Senior Day, which is probably one of my favorite days of the year. You get to just recognize all the seniors, both cheerleaders and support staff and football players and everything. So it's a great time. So with that said, I'm going to go right to the Talkin' Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because the guy that gave me the list of all the seniors 4 times is on there, Mike McCaffrey. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Jimmy. How are you, my man?
I am great this morning. Looking forward to Senior Day at Darcy Stadium, and I might just have to get a couple pronunciations from you. Before we
pregame.
Yeah, but a whole lot going on coming out of the athletic department at the University of St. Francis. But first, let's talk about the men's football team. 7-2 Cougar football, winners of 4 in a row, hosting St. X today at 1 o'clock. And this is a very, very meaningful game for the Cougs of St. Francis.
Yeah, it is. I mean, aside from, as you said, Senior Day, last regular season home game, try to stay undefeated in the division. But we've got a foe in St. X coming to town who has sights set on ruining our postseason hopes. And always a good game when St. Xavier comes to USF for a football game, and we've played them several times, and many of them here. And I think each time we've treated fans to a really good game. But, we're sitting in good position right now. We're 3-0 in the division. We've got 2 games left. If we can go 5-0, obviously we'll win the division and clinch a postseason berth. If we win today, and I believe if St. Francis, Illinois beats Olivet, they play as well. I believe if we beat St. X and St. Francis, Illinois beats Olivet, and we'll clinch it before next week's road game at Olivet, because everyone will have 2 losses or 1 loss. If St. Francis finishes with 1 loss and we finish with 1 loss, obviously we beat them head to head. So as long as if another team finishes with 1 loss, as long as it's not one that beat us, then we would have a tiebreaker over everybody in the division. So got to take care of business today, though, and put ourselves in that position, hopefully.
Well, and we talked about this last week, too, just let's say offensively, the sheer amount of playmakers that are there for Josh Kulka, and you can't say enough about the job Josh Kulka's done anyway, but his receivers, his running backs, his just everything, and it's probably in double figures the amount of guys that touch the ball on a weekly basis in the offense. And that's just something. There isn't a bona fide super like a Seth Coate this year. Although we've got the Ovante Vickers and Dandridge's guys like that, and guys that are able to to make big plays are fantastic. But yeah, this should be a fine day. Rain should hold off, and it should be an awesome day for Cougar football. And of course, like last week, another PA announcers challenge. Last week it was St. Francis played St. Francis. This week the Cougars, I believe, play the Cougars.
Yeah. This is the one where if you go up to St. X and you're a St. Francis fan and you go into the crowd, they have those chants of real Cougars wear red kind of a thing. So it's we're kind of used to it though. I mean, we've got two other Cougars in the Crossroads League at Spring Arbor and Mount Vernon Nazarene. So not a lot of creativity on our parts, but we're excited to play St. X regardless of what the mascot is. And yeah, you're right. I mean, we've got, last week, second play of the game, Ajay Dandridge takes one about 80 yards to the house and hits another one later on. And running the ball is obviously paramount for us. If we can do that today and keep St. X's offense off the field, we'll be in good shape.
Yes, indeed. Of course, yeah, talking about nicknames, and I've said this before, too. You know, when I went there, it was a college, and they were Troubadours, not Cougars. So I think the change in nicknames was a positive effect athletically, because if I recall correctly, a Troubadour's some dude that plays like a trumpet walks down the street and something like that.
It'd be tough to intimidate an opponent coming out of the locker room with a trumpet.
Yeah. Now, if a Troubadour had a Cougar on a leash, that'd make him a little more imposing. But not the case. But
we'll stick with what we've got for now.
That's right. Thank goodness. And now, turning over to men's basketball, they dropped their first decision of the season to Rochester Christian yesterday, 79-73, playing in the Faithworks Classic in Rochester. They'll take on Cleary today at 3:30. But the Cougar men are getting off to a great start.
Yeah, it was. Last Saturday was a big one. They were on the road at Madonna and ended up getting a win over a top 25 team on the road, and then went this week and beat a Governor State team on the road as well. And then last night, I was watching the game and then I couldn't really tell what the challenges were. Whether Rochester Christian was playing really good defense, we just weren't in our normal offensive mode, or maybe defensively we were giving up too many shots. I haven't talked to Coach Lacrosse since the game last night, but. Didn't look like we normally do, and I think that sometimes happens when you get this many road games early on in the season. But again, early, we've got a lot of basketball left to play, and I think Coach feels pretty good about where this team's at. And we've got some pretty good players inside with Isaiah Malone and Joe Reedy, and then obviously we're a pretty guard dominant team as we have been historically with Brandon Northern and Zane Burke and Luke Almendovar. So I'm excited to get these guys back to Hutzel and see what they can do there.
Well, yeah, when you look at a box score and you see the names of Almendovar and Reedy, you think, well, new guys? No, these were guys that were injured last year and weren't able to contribute to the Cougs, and they are back and healthy, and that's just going to make them even stronger.
Yeah, Joe's been injured, I think, since he got here. So it's fortunate that Joe's healthy now because he's such a great kid and such a tough player, and you got to love having him. And yeah, I hope he can stay healthy all year because he's a big part of what we want to do.
We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And, of course, Jeremy Henney's women's team, the Cougars, are 4-0. They beat St. Xavier 86-55 yesterday. They're playing in a tournament in Indy. They'll take on Mid-American Nazarene today at 11 o'clock. But they're cooking on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, none of their games have really been close yet. They're doing what they have to do here in the early part of the schedule when we get teams that we're supposed to beat. They're doing it, but they're also very, very talented, very good. Freshman Callie Gregory's been fantastic, and then you kind of bookend her with our fifth-year senior Cassidy Crawford, who came back after missing all of last year with a torn labrum. Sat the year out, saved her year of eligibility, came back this year. And, I mean, when you can add a first-team all-conference performer to your lineup to a team that played pretty darn well last year and probably should have made the national tournament. They definitely came in this year with some expectations, and the coaches picked the second to finish in the conference. So obviously that tells you with teams like Marion and Indiana Wesleyan Huntington and some of the other ones in our conference, to be picked second above all of them. It's a pretty good sign that people know you've got some talent over there. But yeah, they're rolling right now, and then Coach Henney is building something pretty special over there. And again, I'm excited to get them to Hutzel and watch them play again. They played their first home game on Wednesday and got that win. So next week we'll have a couple more. Yes, indeed. And next Saturday is the crosstown doubleheader at Hutzel between Indiana. If you're local and you love basketball, you better get out to the Hutzel Center, because these are 4 teams that get after it locally. And, one from the Crossroads League, the other from the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. And I'll tell you what, between those, this should be a great day of basketball that I don't want to miss. So that's on the 16th at the Hutzel Center, starting with the women's game at, I believe, 1 o'clock. So should be fun. So anyway, Mike, you got a new sport in your athletic department, women's flag football, and it looks to be that St. Francis is the first in the region to announce a team. Now, is it going to be that other universities and colleges are going to be announcing shortly, or are you going to have to travel some distance to get competition? Well, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Exciting. First year, we're going to probably have to travel a little bit. But I'm guessing that after we've made our announcement, I do know Siena Heights up in Michigan is adding it already this spring. So they'll be a close opponent for us. Most of the schools in the NAIA right now that do it are down in Kansas and Florida. But the way kind of women's flag works is you might have a weekend round robin where you invite 3 or 4 teams in and you play everybody over a couple days, so you can knock out 6 games in one weekend. So there's some scheduling stuff we have to look at. But no, we definitely feel that we were the first, but we're not going to be the last. It's fun to be out on kind of the front end of these things and to be able to make your mark with it and be the first one and get a recruiting class in before anybody else. And the response has been just absolutely ridiculous. Kelsey Pasalia, our associate AD, she's kind of spearheaded this from the beginning. And she's been on email and on the phone for the last 2 days since we made the announcement, just from recruits and people who want to coach and just want to be a part of it. And we've gotten emails from local high school girls that want to come play flag football. Part of the impetus for us was when we saw the 5 Fort Wayne community schools have their girls flag football championship over at Southside last month, and kind of said, well, there's maybe 15 or 20 right there, seniors that are looking to play. And as we began to reach out to more of the coaches in Indy, and then Kelsey has some contacts in Illinois, we began to see that there's a significant number of young ladies that are going to want to play flag football in college. So we felt like this was the right time. We've got the facility for it. I mean, we put it on a football field, and then we kind of shrinked it a little bit with pylons and cones, and it fits inside of a regulation football field, so we don't have to build any facilities. Obviously uniforms are jerseys and flags, and order some new footballs and stuff like that. So it made some sense for us to be able to do this, knowing that we have about 15 to 20 guaranteed in the pipeline already. So it's fun. It's exciting. Next move is to get a coach, and probably have to put together some sort of combine tryout thing here over the winter in one of our local indoor facilities, because we just have so much response. We're not going to be able to put 40 women on a team year one. So we got some work to do to figure out exactly what this looks like. But no, it's super exciting. We feel great. The NAIA is really behind this. The NFL is behind it. So we feel like it's set up for success. Sounds like a lot of excitement going on in the athletic department of the University of St. Francis, and that's a ton of great information. Shout out to our guys, the cross country, Victoria Klybon and Alvin Ketter, both qualified for the NAIA National Championship. So Alvin becoming the first male in school history to qualify for the NAIA National Championships, and Victoria going back for her second year in a row. So pumped there. They went out to Taylor yesterday and ran a couple really good races. All right. Well, Mike, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you shortly. Sounds good, Jimmy. Have a great weekend. All right. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with Shane Albahrani and talk about last night's game and tonight's. We'll do all that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. Hello,
Hello, everyone. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to catch us each Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. right here on 1380 The Fan, Fort Wayne's only sports station. Indiana Sports Beat covers the Hoosiers, Boilermakers, Colts, Pacers, even high school, and anything of importance across the sports landscape. If you miss an episode, you can catch up on Indiana Sports Beat's YouTube page. But keep it tuned right here to 1380 The Fan, Fort Wayne's only sports station.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Look no further than Federated Digital Solutions. At Federated Digital Solutions, we specialize in driving growth through our core solutions: branding, lead generation, social engagement, and strategy. As your marketing partner, we take the guesswork out and focus on these main digital solutions so your potential customers can find your business. Everything we do is customized to your business's unique needs. Don't settle for mediocrity when you can have excellence with Federated Digital Solutions. Visit us today. Text FDS to 45364.
Do you remember the good old days as a kid when you were sitting at home, eagerly tearing open a pack of sports trading cards? Oh, the anticipation builds as you uncover rare rookie cards, autographed gems, and limited edition memorabilia. Well, not much has changed. Card collecting and trading is just as exciting as ever. Experience the thrill of opening a treasure trove of sports trading cards at Midwest Box Breaks, your ultimate destination for all things card related. At Midwest Box Breaks is based right here in Fort Wayne. Midwest Box Breaks. Value the customer. Respect the hobby. Midwest Box Breaks.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Gonna let that kiss run. That was for our listener guest on the Talkin Sports phone line, which is powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because he had to be a Kiss fan back in the day. Shane Albahrani, yes
Good
or
morning.
no? Kiss fan or not?
Oh, I have seen Kiss probably more than any other band I've ever seen. So that would be a yes.
Oh, my goodness. Shane Albahrani, also the only Minnesota Twins fan I know. Pretty sure. Yes. Anyway, hey, gigantic one last night in Toledo at the Huntington Center. The Komets get goals from 5 different Komets. Brett Brochu is another stellar performance. Komets win 5-1 over the Walleye.
Yeah, how about that? Komets put a whipping on the Walleye at the Huntington Center, which that doesn't happen very often.
No.
So, that was a very, very nice surprise last night, because Toledo comes out, they score the first goal in the first 5 minutes, and you're just thinking, oh, here we go again, and then the Komets rattle off 5 straight, and it was a pretty good night.
Yes, indeed. And, of course, Toledo came into that game leading the Central Division by a point. Komets, I mean, I know it's early, but, well, this was a 4-pointer for the K's.
Yeah, absolutely. The Komets now sitting with just one loss, and the Komets have proven over the last couple of weeks. They went to Kansas City, one of the better teams in the league. They swept them in Kansas City, and then they beat Toledo at the Huntington Center, and the only team that the Komets haven't been able to beat has been Kalamazoo, and we'll get a chance to do that here tonight.
Yes, indeed. It's Military Appreciation Night for the Komets. And what are ticket sales like for tonight's game and the Military Appreciation Night? How does that work for those?
It's ticket sales are pretty sturdy. We might be looking at a sellout tonight. So there's some tickets left, but there might not be by the time the game rolls around. So I would advise getting to the Coliseum ticket office here this morning. And you know what? We're bringing back the giant American flag from Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep. That'll be out there during the national anthem, and veterans can get buy one get one free tickets by just going to the Coliseum ticket office and showing your ID.
Very nice. We're talking this morning with Shane Albahrani, play-by-play broadcaster of the Fort Wayne Komets. And Shane, what is the difference last year to this year? I know, Coach Calicky was kind of on the hot seat with a lot of fans throughout the season last year. Not the case right now.
Yeah, last year this team it was just jam-packed with rookies. You just had guys who were learning the pro game, and that really was the difference. Guys got better as the year went on, but it was just an up and down season. That was going to happen. We don't have the experience, and this year you have the experience, and that's what really shines through, especially last night. just guys know what to do. The situational awareness is off the charts from what it was last year. Guys just knowing what to do, when to be at a certain place, and also you've got Brett Brochu, who's still considered a rookie, but he was able to play in 17, 20 games last year, and able just to actually sit back and just kind of watch the game, and he's caught up to it. So there's huge differences from last year. Alex Aliardi, Anthony Petruzzelli is back. Odin Tufto, who had a 4-point night. You have Jack Dugan back. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And defensively, this team is really, really good. We saw Tyler Inamoto, who was down from Bakersfield, make his debut. He'd been injured, and he was fantastic last night. So even though the Komets have had some injuries in the early going, they've just had a next man up mentality, and it doesn't seem to matter what lineup you throw out there. The Komets are a pretty good team.
Yeah, when you talk about the Dugans and Aliardis and guys like that, we had all the positive aspects of last year's team have returned this year, and then the pieces surrounding them seem to be elevated as well. So that is something too that's going to make it for the Komet fans an enjoyable season, or at least the start of the season before call-ups happen. And like you said, injuries, you can't determine when those are going to happen, if at all, but it's great to see the start that they're getting off to. And tell me about now Kalamazoo 4-1, only played 5 games thus far, and what can we expect? I know they put a whooping on the K's last time in, and so what can we expect when we go out there tonight and watch the Kalamazoo Wings take on the K's?
Well, I think they'll be much more prepared for Kalamazoo this time. I think they may have underestimated him a little bit, and Connor Unger was the starting goaltender that night, and he was shaky in his first 2 starts. He's another rookie coming down. I think he's just kind of learning the speed of the league as well, and he bounced back, and he had a great game last Saturday in Kansas City. So I would expect him to be going big tonight. And Kalamazoo, they lost in Bloomington last night, so they had to take a long drive. They probably didn't get in until about 5 this morning, so maybe the Wings will be a little tired, so we'll be able to take advantage of that here tonight.
Okay. Well, Shane, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll listen for you tonight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
All right. That was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. And, make it out to the game tonight. Take a look, see what's going on with the K's. Oh, that music means it's time for us to get out of here. Well, we're going to do that. And thank you so much to Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net for joining us. Thanks to Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis. And thanks to Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, for joining us on Talkin Sports this morning. And as always, thanks to D.C. Hendricks. You have no idea what it takes to keep smooth-running radio programs going, and he does it with the best of them. So we appreciate him, and we appreciate you as well. So until next week, have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.